What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to an all new episode of the 20-Minute Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, the Scene Snob, Mick Manhattan, aka the Ring Snob. And man, we're going to have a pretty jam packed episode. I'm going to try and keep this as close to 20 as possible, but it might go over. It was a big week for wrestling last week. Let's just start from the beginning. Let's go to Raw. So, Raw was pretty good episode. Just good matches, kind of building up, and then we finally get to the main event, really, which was the Viking Raiders versus Ricochet and Randy Orton. They come out, they have a good match. Ricochet looked really good in the match, especially, and then of course, then you start getting the back stage brawling. You have SmackDown on the premises coming out, giving a lot of issues, setting up for Survivor Series, of course. So, they come out. This kind of been in the works for a little while, especially since the Saudi Arabia episode forced them to do the invasion early. But it's been good. It's been a good 2 weeks, and this was all right. I liked it. I liked the brawl that went on. It's pretty familiar with how it went down, but it wasn't bad. It was kind of setting up for the week go home episode for Survivor Series on Raw. And then before we jump into any more shows, I want to talk about some of the news. Any wrestling shows. I want to talk about WWE Backstage. We got CM Punk back. CM Punk is back. He came back. He's, of course, a recurring role on WWE Backstage. Very adamantly talking about how he works for Fox. And it's been pretty cool so far. He did a shoot on quite a few people. And he didn't really hold back, and I'll give it to him. But I kind of want to see where it's going. I want to see if he's working an angle or how this is all playing out. Is he going to get back in the ring? What's this ultimately leading to? He's very adamant that this is more about working for Fox, and he hasn't spoken to anybody at WWE. And I thought if he was working an angle, his best way to come out would have been at Survivor Series, but we'll get to that. But he did not come out at Survivor Series, so nothing there, no news there. But he did a good job on WWE Backstage. He and Renee, they had their own little back and forth, and he was shooting pretty hard on Seth Rollins, and I don't know that it's unwarranted. He did tell him to stay off Twitter, and man, that guy does need to stay off Twitter. He's just causing problems, because then, of course, he comes back, and he calls CM Punk a coward, and it's just, come on, dude. Like, Seth, just cool it. Just go back in your hole for a little while. They don't even talk about you and Becky together anymore. It's one problem after another. But I don't want to dwell on it too much, but CM Punk did a good job on this episode. I can't wait to see him come back, and I want to hear more commentary from him. So then we have, to talk about one weird thing that happened on WWE Backstage I kind of want to talk about was David Arquette came out. Now, David Arquette is trying his hand in pro wrestling. Of course, the actor from the Scream movies, if you don't know him. And he played Dewey. But he was in the movie Ready to Rumble. Now, that was a WCW-based movie, and he did win the title for real on Nitro. No, not Nitro. I'm getting mixed up. I don't think it was Nitro, though. I think it was a pay-per-view. He did win the belt, and he became the world heavyweight champion for WCW, and that was a strange occurrence. Yes, he is up there with so many others, but he's trying his hand at wrestling now. He's out there, he's doing it, but he came out to go to promo school, is what they were calling on WWE Backstage. It was the most awkward thing I think I've ever seen. It was just strange, and I found myself feeling more like bad for him rather than anything else. I kind of wish he'll pull it. I hope for him to pull it together, and if he's really into the wrestling, keep it going, man. More power to you. But Next bit of news: NWA Power. Jim Cornette. I don't know what you guys think. I thought it was pretty offensive what he said, but I kind of get the point of what a lot of people are saying. Was that like he wasn't trying to be racial, but no, I shouldn't say I get that. I don't get that. Maybe he didn't know he was trying to be racial, is what I mean. Like, maybe I would give him the benefit of the doubt, but I don't really care. He's a blowhard anyway. So, yeah, Jim Cornette came out. He said some pretty racial stuff during commentary for a match on NWA Power. They ended up having to pull the match and not showing it. But if you go out there, you can find what he said. And then he resigned. Yeah, he was asked to resign, and he did. So I like Jim Cornette's interviews, like when he did the Dark Side of the Ring interviews, and he's done other interviews where he talks about the history of wrestling, because the dude is smart. The guy knows the history of wrestling inside and out, and he can tell you some amazing things. But as a commentator, if you're going to say things like that, come on, just stay home. Nobody wants to hear it. You're trying to get a rise at everybody, but that's not what this is about anymore. Also in AEW news, we have, this was hinted at a long time ago on Cody Rhodes' Twitter, that Bash at the Beach, but they finally confirmed it. In January, before they leave for their cruise, which is Jericho's cruise, his wrestling cruise, they're going to do a Dynamite episode, Bash at the Beach. Now, if you remember WCW days, Bash at the Beach was their big one. That was like, a lot of things happened. That was Hogan's heel turn. Tons of stuff happened at Bash at the Beach. And it was my favorite video game on N64. I loved Bash at the Beach. So it's very cool that they're going to be doing it on AEW. And I can't wait for it. I hope they have the floating ring, everything. I want it all. So I'm excited for that. But it does seem like there's been hints at legal trouble, that Vince may still own it. But who knows? We'll see what happens. I hope they do it. Just give it up. It's been fantastic. So then the next night, I want to cover AEW real quick because they did some really cool things. You had a great match with Nick Jackson and from the Young Bucks and Ray Phoenix. Man, that might... I'm not going to say that was the match of the week. That was up there, though. That was a good one. That was top 3. Easy. Jericho's promo with SCU was a lot of fun. I did dig the Fonzie reference where he couldn't say sorry, so he had Jake Hager do it. Then you had a 12-man like battle royale for a ring or something like that. It was cool. It was just cool to get kind of a battle royal in there. Billy Gunn came out. It was a lot of fun. He seemed to dwarf everybody. I don't think I realized how big Billy Gunn was, but that was awesome. It was a lot of fun. Then you had the main event. To go back to Jericho's promo though, they did pull a cool duck season rabbit season thing with Scorpio Sky. That was a lot of fun, and they're going to be fighting for the championship this coming week, and I can't wait to tune in for that. But they finished off with the main event. It was Darby versus Mox, Darby Allin versus Mox, and it was a solid match. I really enjoyed it. I wouldn't put it as one of the best this week, but it was a solid match I really enjoyed. And there was one really cool where Mox goes stiff on him and knocks him down after Darby jumps off the top turnbuckle. It was fun. It was a funny little piece. So now we're getting to then we go over to NXT. I had a lot of problems with the NXT Go Home episode on this. It won this week in the ratings. First week it won. It won by 16,000 more viewers. But it had pretty much every star from SmackDown and Raw there. And it was just brawl after brawl. Every match ended in a brawl between all of them. And it was annoying. I was pissed. I was really pissed about that. Because you had a cool Riddle versus Ricochet match ended in a brawl. So you just had these invasions through every match, and I just don't think you need it. Like Raw, they had the invasion. People would come out, but the real invasion was like at the end. And then the Kaylee Ray match and Dakota Kai match was really good. It was a lot of fun watching Dakota Kai. Besides Rhea Ripley, Dakota Kai is like one of my favorites in NXT. Not just women, like one of my favorites. Then you had the Revival versus the Undisputed Era, which was a fantastic match. It was a terrific tag team match, which bugs me because you have this great tag team match finally in the WWE universe. We've been getting so many great matches spoiled by AEW in their tag team division that now we finally get this great tag team, and it seems like Revival doesn't even want to be there anymore. I wish they'd go back down to NXT. I mean, we need more good tag teams, and I think NXT is where to do it. But I just have to go over the brawls again. Everything ended in a brawl, and it was just boring. I got so tired of it after a while. And I didn't want to deal with it anymore. And I don't know why they couldn't just have an invasion. A simple invasion. I know, I get it. I get each show has to have one. But they tried way too hard to get as many stars out as possible all over the place. That really pissed me off. Because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to beat AEW. And I get that. But you're taking away from NXT, which is a good product, and you're taking away from stories that are being set up. And then you're pushing out all of these stars. Are you going to do that every week? What's going to happen next week? I mean, come on, make up your minds, guys. It really drove me nuts. Then you had SmackDown a couple days later, of course, on Friday night in Fox. And it was the most boring. The end brawl was my favorite of the week. Again, they did it right. At the end, the brawl came. They had some like Shayna came out and like had some scuffles with Bayley midway through, and lots of crazy stuff. I do want to mention one thing. Becky Lynch opened up with a promo on Open Up NXT on that Wednesday night, and it was a great promo. It was terrific. And then Rhea Ripley came out and they fought, and that was a great match. So you should go check out NXT if you can get past the brawls that end every match. You'll see some really cool stuff. I wish there was more story built up though. But going back to SmackDown, they set some things up nice. They had some good confrontations throughout, and then they had the pretty epic brawl at the end, which they had to have going into Saturday night, which was TakeOver War Games. But it was pretty awesome, and I really enjoyed it. That brawl. The episode itself, did not really enjoy. It was kind of boring all the way through. But that brawl was fun. Like I said, my favorite brawl throughout. And then I was finally thankful to get to Saturday because I was tired of brawls and I wanted to see what War Games was going to bring me. Now, they've been doing War Games for a while. Anybody who doesn't know what War Games is? War Games was created by Dusty Rhodes back in the day and brought on through, I think it was 1987 was the first one. I remember the 91, 92 War Games, everything else. But I think 87 he started. I don't have it in my notes. I should have looked it up, but Dusty Rhodes started this, and it was it's two rings together, and they brought a big cage around it, and you got in one. Two guys would start, teams of four, 2 teams of 4. And I think back in the day they used to do more, but I don't 100% remember. And they would, one would come out every so often from each team, just kind of interchanging. And they do that now. Now they don't have a top on the ring, but you can't climb over anyway, so it's automatic disqualification. But we get to That's War Games. That's what that is. And they were having the first ever women's War Games match, which was pretty exciting. And so we got to take over. The women's War Game match is my favorite match of the week. 110%. It was amazing. It was terrific. The whole pay-per-view of TakeOver was some of the best wrestling I've seen in a long time. They set things up. You had attacks in the backstage, then you had epic heel turns, then you had I don't want to say special guests, but like surprise wrestlers coming out. It was perfect. It was terrific. It's what I wish every week would be. Just adding to great stories. And then you had so the women's match was fantastic. You had Dakota Kai turn on Knox, and so really Rhea Ripley's team was just her and Candice LeRae with Shayna Baszler's team. So it was 4-on-2 trapped in the cage, and they still won it. I love it, and I love how they did it. It was beautiful. My son and I were jumping out of our seats, screaming about how good the match was. We got a triple threat match with Damian Priest, Killian Dane, and Pete Dunne to see who's going to advance and was going to go against Adam Cole at Survivor Series. Pete Dunne won that, but it was a pretty solid match. Really good. They tore each other up. It was just a lot of fun. Good triple threat match. There's not a lot of great triple threat matches, but that was a really good one. We had Matt Riddle versus Finn Balor. Solid match. You were going to get a solid match out of them. Really enjoyed the whole thing through. Finn takes it in the end. We had a bunch of really good matches, and but the men's War Games match I want to talk about. I kind of touched down on because I still have another show to talk about, and I'm coming up on my 20-minute mark. So we have the War Games. So you have Tommaso Ciampa's crew, which is Keith Lee, Djarvik. I can never say his Russian name right. And Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens came out versus the Undisputed Era, Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, and Roderick Strong. In the end, Ciampa's team won. Took it. Pretty epic slam off of the top of the cage too. But 6 tables went up, 6 tables got broken. That's the rule. You set up a table, it's got to go. That's the way it is. And they did it. And they all had a hand in breaking every table. It was beautiful. So you got a pretty epic match. Now, the women's match to me was a lot better. A lot more raw and really good wrestling. But the men's match was solid. It was a really solid match, and I'm glad Ciampa's team won. So then we get to today. It is already after 11, and I have watched like 90 hours of wrestling this week. And then today was the last day before I start all again tomorrow. But Survivor Series 2019, we get the matches basically. I'm going to just kind of gloss over and go over them. We had the Viking Raiders. This kind of bugged me that this was at the kickoff, too. We had a Battle Royal, and we had another match between... I missed the other match in the kickoff because I didn't know it was coming up, but I did catch the tag team triple threat, which is the Viking Raiders, the New Day, and the Undisputed Era. Viking Raiders won. They took it. It was a pretty good match. Can't complain. A lot of nice moves in there. Then we get to the main event. We got the women's 5-on-5. I think at that point the count was like two wins for NXT, 1 win for Raw, and 1 win for SmackDown or something like that. No, it was 1-1 and nothing or something like that. But anyway, we get into it. You get the women's 5-on-5-on-5. NXT takes it. Rhea Ripley, my girl, she did an awesome job. It was really cool to see. And she took the win over Sasha Banks. And then we got to, I think it was next. I didn't write down the order that it was in, but I'm pretty sure it was AJ Shinsuke and Roderick Strong for their triple threat match, champions triple threat match. Roderick Strong came out and won it. I was I was shocked. I was very shocked because AJ I thought was going to take it. I mean, if you look at my prediction video, AJ I had him all the way, and I was very shocked that NXT was now up like 3 or 2, maybe it was 2 at that point, but they were up, and it was pretty wild to see. Then we had Adam Cole versus Pete Dunne. Adam Cole retained championship. Solid match. A lot of fun. Then we go to Bray Wyatt, The Fiend, versus Daniel Bryan. I hate the red. I hate the red so much. Please take it off. I feel like I'm in a dark room, and I'm just, my eyes are like, anybody who watches Seinfeld, it's like when the Kenny Rogers chicken sign was shining through his apartment and he was slowly going mad. That's what I felt like when I was watching the Fiend wrestle. It was a good match. Daniel Bryan put on a great show. Fiend was okay. He kind of stayed along with him, but Daniel Bryan really carried that match. Of course, lost to the Mandible Claw. But you know, whatever. You knew Bray was going to retain. Then you have after Bray retained that, we went on to the men's 5-on-5, which was surprising. Well, not really surprising because it dwindled all the way down. I mean, you had SmackDown team fighting because, of course, it's Corbin and Roman Reigns, and they hate each other, and blah, 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 blah. I'm tired of it. But then you had, it dwindled down to Seth for Raw, Roman Reigns for SmackDown, and Tommaso Ciampa hung in there for a while, but Keith Lee was the last guy for NXT. He got Seth out, which I was very happy to see. Whiny Seth Rollins didn't win a match. Good. He's going to probably come out on Raw tomorrow and cry about what his purpose in life is. Who knows? I don't care. Call CM Punk a coward. You call everybody else. You call Will Ospreay and you start messing with him about his paycheck. You know, screw you, dude. I'm glad you didn't win. Roman won. He speared Keith Lee and pinned him. A couple of back and forths before that, though. And a weird, I guess the ref botched it and just, you know, he hit 3 times, but they called it 2. But whatever. And they kept going on, but it wound up being Roman winning anyway. So I would have liked to have seen Keith Lee win, but I kind of get it. NXT was up anyway, and you kind of had to play the game. But it was good. It was a solid match. I really enjoyed it. I especially enjoyed those two together. So good on Roman Reigns. Then we had Brock Lesnar versus Rey Mysterio. I don't know what this was. No holds barred, no disqualification fight. I don't know what this was. It was a pain in the butt. I didn't like the match. I don't like Brock Lesnar, but I knew he was going to win. I knew what it was. So we got Brock Lesnar coming out, tearing up Rey. Rey did pretty good for a little while. Then his son comes out. Then they're both tearing up Brock. Then Brock comes out and he tears them up. And Brock retains. Dumb match. Did not enjoy it. Just get me to the women's triple threat. So, final main event is the women's match again, which is awesome. I'm so glad to see that they're main eventing a lot of things because their matches are so much better. You have Becky Lynch, the man, versus Bayley. I don't know. Oh, I want to touch down on something with Rey. Why was he dressed like Doink the Clown? What is happening? He made this whole plea about he's changed Rey, and he even had a different mask when he did a promo earlier in the night. He's a changed man. He's this, he's that, he's other, and he comes dressed out like Doink the Clown. Now, I've heard a lot of people say, oh, well, you know, he's probably trying to do the Joker. I don't care. You look like Doink the Clown. That's exactly what you look like. Don't do it. Like, you just went on this rant about how you have evolved and that you're a different Rey Mysterio and you're this and you were close to retirement, but now you're out. And then you come out looking like Doink the Clown to face the guy who tore up your son and put him in the hospital. Whatever. It was stupid. Whole match was stupid. I'm glad this is done. So then you have Bailey and Shayna. Solid match. Bailey did a lot better than I thought she was going to do. You know, she really stuck with Becky and Shayna, but it was not her match. We knew that was the way it was going to be. I had thought she was going to win it. I predicted she was going to win it, but I predicted she was going to win it because she was in SmackDown. I thought they would want to keep SmackDown, the money-making show, high up. Not the case, and I got to give it to her. So they went with NXT. You know, it's a sprint, not a marathon. Sorry, it's a marathon, not a sprint. To quote Jericho, which is perfect. So NXT won. Because Shayna had Bailey tap out. Becky came back, laid her out, brought her down through the announcer's booth, and held the belt high. The man was still there. So they're definitely setting something up, whether it's coming in from Royal Rumble or they're trying to set up for WrestleMania. It should be a pretty solid match, and I look forward to that one. Just the two of them. I don't know what's happening with Bailey. What she's wearing, what she's going whole hog on this. Probably shouldn't say that. It means something different, I guess, in some parts of the world. I meant when whole hog, I meant the old-fashioned way. It was like she's going all in, not a sexual thing, but so she's going all in on this Karen cut that she has, and just like the soccer mom look. And she wore this weird turtleneck, and it did not help. It just looked like she was like ready to pick the kids up. If she's a heel, she needs to act better, like a better heel. She's not pulling off heel well, and it's all in it for me. It's all in it for me, and nobody gets what you're doing. Just come on, Bailey, go back, or be a true heel. You know, that's all I gotta say about that. But then we had. That's the last of Survivor Series. I really like this. This is the first year in I don't know, 3 years, 4 years, how long they've been doing the brand split, but where we actually have the brand split and we don't have this commentary between Stephanie and Shane and, oh, we're against each other. Oh, Blue's going to win. Oh, Red's going to win. Let's make a bet, blah, blah, blah. And just these corny promos. I was just getting real tired of that stuff. So I'm happy that they did it this way. I'm happy that it was just like the performers are the ones out there. It's their pride that's on the line. I like that story better. So I would definitely give TakeOver an A, definitely an A grade for how great it was. Survivor Series, I would say a B+. They did solid, but there are just some things I really didn't care about seeing, like the Brock and Ray fight and some other stuff. But overall, I'd say a B+. Everybody did a solid job for the most part. And then we got a cool Stone Cold interviewing The Undertaker. That's up on WWE Network. So, I mean, it's a rare interview with Undertaker where he's not full-on Undertaker, you know, and we're getting Mark. We're talking to Mark. So, and we're getting some old school feedback. But this is going to be the 30-minute wrestling podcast tomorrow. But just make sure that you guys are leaving comments, feedback, stuff like that. I definitely want to see what you guys thought of everything. Like I said, it was a pretty wild week. I'm exhausted. A lot of wrestling this week, and it all starts again tomorrow. But I want to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Eat a lot of turkey or whatever you're having. Have a good time with family. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube, like us on Facebook at The Scene Snobs, and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at The Scene Snob. Lots of news coming up, stuff like that. If you go to thescenesnobs.com, we have all our podcasts, videos, things like that. Really look forward to doing more. We got more stuff coming out. But yeah, that's about it, and that's all I got. And until next time, have a good one. Bye.